I'm Arlyn Davich, and this is How You Sell Without Selling Out. Roger's that.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rogers Healy, and welcome to Rogers That, a podcast dedicated to selling without selling out. Today we have just an incredible leader, someone I met not too long ago through the world of venture capital and, more importantly, the world of free reign coffee, the world of caffeine, the most necessary commodity on planet Earth. Arlyn has become a friend, and I became a fan of hers very quickly, and we've been trying to get this coordinated for a while. And so I'm excited to share her story, and I'm going to read a little bit of background. She's a serial entrepreneur, over a decade of experience holding positions such as CEO, one of which is at Free Reign Coffee, board director, angel investor, leader, wife, mom. She's currently the CEO of Free Reign Coffee, no big deal, which we're going to talk about here in a second, which has become one of my favorite opportunities I've ever been a part of, in large part because right when I heard about Free Reign Coffee, I started drinking coffee, and now I am obsessed with it. She has previously co-founded companies such as Little Fish, which is a firm that provides fractional and interim CMO, chief marketing officers to executive teams. She's founded and led PayPerks, which is a fintech startup recognized by the White House, no big deal, and the Federal Reserve Bank for its innovative approach to financial inclusion. We're going to uncover that too, because that's the most incredibly fancy sentence I've ever read in my life. Arlyn is passionate. She likes to drive inclusion, growth through technology, through consumer tech, and her experience as an entrepreneur is genuinely extensive. And I can't wait to pick her brain and amplify her story. And so that's a lot of words from me, but this is not about me. This is about Arlyn. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, and thank you for being my publicist. You're hired.
Really? Wow.
That was quite a good bio. I mean, I didn't even remember half of that about my career.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's like your business obituary.
Taking it back. Yeah.
Here we are, still standing. So why don't we get under the hood a little bit before we talk about kind of the business stuff and Free Reign Coffee and your awesome jacket. What got you here? What's your true background? Where are you from, and what got you in the headspace of being an incredible entrepreneur and leader?
I think I sort of define myself as a creative person trapped in the body of somebody who's not artistic. So I, throughout my life, tried my hand at many different creative outlets, and I wasn't super successful at painting or drawing, or even I was a music major in college, and I wrote one really good song. But aside from that, I'm kind of like not a great musical talent. But when I encountered entrepreneurship, it felt to me like a creative path, right? Where you could be creative, but you don't have to be artistic. You can use Excel and PowerPoint and storytelling to bring, value to the world. So I think every chapter of my career has had that through line.
Oh, well, let's talk about the music stuff. I didn't realize that. I'm a huge music fan, and I know we've kind of talked about it with potential collabs with what you're doing now. What was the name of the song?
Is, because it will be a hit.
What is the name of the song? Yes.
The name of the song is New Year, and it's a sad Christmas song, because I think a lot of Christmas songs are like, forced happy. And I think, the holiday times are not always happy. They're mixed, just like at all times of year. And it's a Christmas ballad about looking forward to the beginning of the new year.
So this is we're trailing off here, but I'm not going to turn the camera, but I'm in my back house, which is music themed. And I tell you this to where the short of it, I've taken piano lessons 5 different times as an adult for one single reason. And I literally want to learn how to play A Long December by Counting Crows, which is obviously it's not a rip of your song, but it's such a great story, and just the beginning of that song. And I only listened to it in December, which is just so stupid. But yeah, it's good.
I love that song. And I think it's in that genre, but it's more country.
I love it. So who other than you, who's the ideal singer for your song?
Casey Musgraves.
Really?
Yeah.
She's from Texas, and her hometown is where my parents live. She's from like Mineola, Lindale.
Well, I'm big into manifesting, and so I am manifesting that she's going to sing this song one day. So we'll put it out into the universe here.
Well, Casey, I know you're listening today, Casey. First of all, nice. Thanks for checking in. But secondly, meet Arlyn, your new muse. So again, just another incredible, accomplishment in your belt. And it's funny, and we're not going to get to the question just yet because you struck a chord. When I think I'm artistic, and I can't draw, I can't paint, I can't write, but I think being artistic is being creative, and I think what you've been able to do with free reign and et cetera is take a creative approach to business. And maybe that's kind of what led you to being such a pioneer in the spaces that you've participated in. So my first question is, has that been difficult, knowing that you're in the professional world but your mind is more on the creative artistic side?
Well, I think that, listen, I went to business school. Like, I'm not the, and today at Free Reign, I work with people that are a lot more creative than me. But I think that I have a liberal arts kind of approach where, like, you can see a through line or integrate different disciplines. So that's why I make the distinction between creative and artistic, because um, I think creativity is just like open-mindedness, and our artistry is bringing that to life in a way that resonates. And so I certainly can't do the latter, but um, at least on the free reign front, I think I've been effective at, bringing ideas that maybe wouldn't live in a traditional coffee company, bringing them to the team of artists who can bring those to life for customers.
So was it something, and I know we're talking free reign, but again, it's coffee. It's probably the safest commodity investment in the world, and it's one of the oldest commodities in the world too. What was that like, being such a creator, knowing that you're entering a space that is thousands of years old? Right, you're not going to be the first coffee company, right? But the way that you go and tell the story of coffee might be different. Is that what excited you about it?
So before Free Reign, I started a mattress company, and mattresses are a similar kind of a category where when I started Allswell, which is a mattress in a box company, there were 150 other mattress in a box companies, right?
No way.
Yeah, 150. And so all the naysayers were like, why is there room for another brand? And so that's where I think um, I have a lot of fun, like figuring out what's the wedge, right? And the wedge could be creative strategy, visuals, it could be product. Like, there's so many different ways to wedge in. And I really like have fun thinking about that. On the mattress side, there were two things that were our wedge, right? One was there were most of the mattresses in the market were foam. And there was a new innovation in the market, which were coils. You could put coil mattresses in a box. And so we developed one of the first hybrid mattresses, which was memory foam and coils in a box. So there was a product wedge. The other thing was, of the 150 companies out there, 149 of them were started by men. And so when you looked at the visuals of all these mattress companies, they were all blue. They were very scientific. They had a lot of like illustrations of, what's inside the mattress. With Allswell, our color was pink from day one. And so when you looked at the market and you saw that the majority of people buying mattresses are women, that was another wedge in, was, the storytelling and the visual and the aesthetics of the brand. So
When was this? What year was this?
probably 2017-ish.
Huh. So 150. Well, and where did the idea spring from? Huh?
Well, I was working at Walmart at the time, and Walmart, I got a mandate from the CEO of Walmart.com to build a brand that would appeal to Walmart customers and elevate the brand. And so an elevated brand that would appeal to Walmart customers. And so started Allswell as a direct to consumer brand inside of the Walmart ecosystem. We started with
Wow.
mattresses. We then expanded to sheets and pillows and blankets and, mattress toppers. And, it's now a lifestyle brand with the hero product of mattresses owned by Walmart. And it's huge. Like, if you go into any Walmart store today, you across aisle, you see, Allswell candles, you see Allswell towels. So,
Wow.
that that initial kernel that there's a female market that wanted a more aesthetic bedding, right? That came to fruition in ways that I couldn't have even imagined on day one. And the reason I tell that story is I think that there's a lot of parallels to that with coffee. I'm not a co-founder of Free Reign. I was brought Free Reign by four guys, including Cole Hauser, who had a vision that there was a similar white space in a very, very crowded coffee market. And it took me, when they first, brought me on, I didn't see it the way they saw it. I just saw a crowded space. But when we brought the brand to life, it has had product market fit like no other brand I've ever been a part of. And everything about the brand, from the product, right? We have over 10,000 5-star reviews.
Wow.
The packaging, like you tell me, but I think the packaging's pretty badass and really stands out on the shelf. To the merchandise, like we're a coffee company, and in yep, riding for the brand. I mean, there's a mug that we make that, I mean, we cannot keep it in stock. Like people really like the merch. So I think just the aesthetics of the brand, the product, the packaging are meeting a moment in society where people are, longing for a simpler time and traditional values, like values that resonate with all Americans: loyalty, family, community. And so, it is a mission-driven brand, like at our core, we are trying to serve those who serve our country and community, and bring great coffee to life through that.
Man, that's a lot to unpack. And again, I think it's fascinating and something I want to get inside your head on, because I think this is where we align. You have such a diverse background with not just one thing, right? And so you've worked for Walmart, you've created a bedding company, you've created, a fintech company, which just those things don't really go together, but they kind of do. And so when you started to unpack it with your genius, at what moment did you realize that all the things that you had done prior led you to this opportunity? And how could you go and take the vertical of experience, again, with stuff that doesn't necessarily go with coffee, but it does, or it doesn't go with subscription, but it does, and doesn't go with merchandise, but it does? How did you take all that and make it make sense?
It's all about the customer, right? And really just caring deeply about turning your attention to a segment of customers, hopefully a large segment of customers, and really trying to solve a problem for them. It could be with Pay Perks, it was a financial problem, right? With bedding, it was a lifestyle problem, right? It could even be an ideological problem. How do you help people reconcile patriotism with, things that people don't like about the country, right? Like you're just solving a problem for a segment of customers. And I think that I'm a people person and I have empathy for people. And so, once you get really attached to the problem you're trying to solve, then the solution to that problem can become a little bit flexible. And that's when I think you have the most success in a business, when you're attached to the problem, not the solution.
So do you like it when things need your attention? Like, are you like, I don't do well when everything is going great, right? Like if it's smooth sailing, I'm like, all right, I got to fix something. I got to use my brain, and, the redundancy of, I don't want to say stability, but predictability is my hell. So how does something like that work with you as as a startup leader? Like, how do you go in these things that you're, the company's kicking ass, and we'll talk about that, but you're also still kind of building the airplane as it's flying. And so does that excite you more than the mapping out what the, next 6 months looks like? Like, how does your brain work as far as problem solving?
So when I was at Walmart, we developed like an operating system for how to run a business. And we applied that which is very process driven. It would be your hell, Rogers, because it is the most predictable thing. On Mondays at 10 a.m., we do this. On Tuesdays at 4 p.m., we do this, right? So it's a very monotonous cadence that helps control the chaos, right? And It's like if it's like I think of it like a cabinet where like, okay, there's a million things that need to be sorted into drawers and they need to be figured out in different. So let's put it in the drawer where we configure it like in a startup, there's a million things you need to figure out. Let's have containers for when we figure different things out and with which group of people we figure different things out with. I think that's been, we developed that at Walmart with Little Fish. When I was doing fractional, I applied that system to every company that I worked at. And the system, I think, is more valuable than anything else. So that is how I run any company. That's how I run Free Reign, is a very strict adherence to the system, which requires, maybe it is boring, but it requires a lot of discipline to keep the system. But I think that's, we're running a startup of Free Reign like we ran, billion-dollar brands.
Wow, I'm taking notes. So that's interesting. So with all that, with Free Reign, with life, with everything you've got going on, if you had to pinpoint one thing that's exciting you the most right now, which I know that changes daily, but right now, what would you say is exciting you the most?
Cold brew. I have probably drank more cold brew coffee than anybody out there. I drink hot coffee 5 days a year, probably, and
Really?
have since college. I drink cold brew every single day. So it's something that, like, I'm on a mission. Before I even knew about Free Reign, if you asked my friends, they would say Arlyn's mission is to convert more people to cold brew and to elevate the cold brew that people drink. And so I've really been nerding out. Free Reign today, we sell bags, beans, and pods. And we are developing a really, really cool, innovative cold brew solution or series, portfolio, I should say. And it's been my kitchen. My husband would, it's a test kitchen in there. We're making lots of different cold brews all day, every day. And I'm really excited for the world to see what we've been working on.
All right, a question that I've wanted to ask for a long time. What is the difference between cold brew and iced coffee, please?
Oh my God. Please don't even say those two things in the same sentence.
I didn't drink coffee I never tasted coffee till 2 years ago. Literally. I was like unintentionally anti-caffeine until our first daughter started teething. And now I'm a coffee fiend, but I don't know the difference. So what is it?
So, if you brew hot coffee and then you make it cold, it's iced coffee. Okay.
Oh,
So it goes through a hot process and then it's chilled.
got it. Oh.
Cold brew, you never heat it. So you take grounds and you pour water over the grounds. And in my case, you let it steep for 48 hours, but you could do 24 hours or 12 hours. So it's basically like steeping the coffee in cold water. And the effect of it is it's less acidic, because when you heat coffee, it brings out some of the acidic nature of the coffee. And so cold brew, I drink actually cold brew concentrate, which is a very concentrated version of coffee that some people dilute with water, but I dilute it with a little bit of like milk or chocolate milk on some days.
Really?
Yeah.
So is it, I've learned a lot about coffee in my 2-year journey, so much so to where I'm no longer allowed to really talk about it in front of my wife because it's been like a daily, like, did you know this? Did you know this? So is cold brew because it has a stronger caffeine content, or you like the taste better, or both?
Why do I like cold brew? I don't know. Hot, like I don't know. Just I'm not in the mood for hot in the morning. I just find like the cold more refreshing, I guess.
Fair enough. All right, so back to leading the company, and then I'd side text you, and you're going to be so annoyed because I'm going to send you questions on coffee now that I have you're my coffee compass. So just the routine. You're working. I know that Free Reign is technically maybe based in Texas, and you're not Texas, and that's not a big deal anymore. But just like the habit of routine of working on tomorrow when there's stuff that needs to be done yesterday. Like how do you keep the habits and the routine moving forward, running a company that is quickly becoming a powerhouse? And I want to make sure we talk about that with what you're comfortable sharing. But what does that look like for you? Going from Walmart, to a CPG startup?
Yeah. Well, the whole shift to remote thing has been interesting because I was an in office person and thought that that was the best way to do things. And now leading an all remote company, I certainly don't believe that anymore. I certainly work, and I think everyone on our team works more hours because they don't have to do the commute. Um, and for us, like, you know, we've got a core of people based in Texas, but we've got people all over the country. And what brings us together is a very set meeting schedule, right? And so we have these calendar invites for recurring meetings. And as I said, like, you know, we might have one on product, like there is one on product, there's one that's cross-functional, there's one on performance media. And so these recurring meeting series, we hold those times sacred. And we have really clear, you know, goals and accountabilities, and we do those quarterly. And so we give people like really crystal clear goals and define really clearly what success looks like. And then we give people room to run to, you know, extreme ownership over their domains.
Hmm.
So,
And
yeah.
other than the cold brew, is that what gets you up in the morning? Like just knowing that people are relying on you, the team is growing, and I want to talk about the trajectories of, you know, of what's happened even in the past like 16 months. But you know, you've got these people relying on you, and leading, you know, leading people is hard. I think leading remote is a different challenge that is very doable. But you know, do you feel that weight of responsibility that you have to be the one that kind of controls the ship?
I think what is most fun for me, this job is so fun. It's so, so fun. And I go to sleep thinking about it and I wake up thinking about it. And what's so fun about it is that you really can swing for the fences every day, right? Um, Unlike being at an established company where you have so much to lose and people are scared to take risks. Like we know we're the underdog, and everyone around the table is willing to take risks to become a real player in this space. And so, um, my first ever job out of college, I worked at a PR firm, and I remember the feeling of day one. They were like, go for it, pitch journalists, you know? And I'm like, oh, do you want me to only pitch like lower tier journalists? And they're like, no, you can pitch anyone you want. And in my first month, I got a hit in the New York Times, which at that for the client I was working on, that was like the biggest outlet you could do. And that was when I realized like I really love swinging for the fences. And I think that's what motivates not just me, but our whole team is that we have the ability to do that.
Hmm. Well, let's talk about, you know, the hits that you've had, and you know, Free Reign. When did we launch? A year ago officially. What was the actual go to market
Yeah.
date?
So, you know, Free Reign as a company has been roasting coffee in Texas for over 20 years under the Longhorn brand. But we launched the rebrand of Free Reign October 6th of last year.
Wow. So tell us what it's been like. You know, whether you want to talk numbers or doors, or you already mentioned. I think that's such an impressive feat to get one review, much less 10,000, you know, 5-star reviews. But what's it been like? I know that I talk to you all the time, but maybe for the other people that aren't familiar yet with, you know, the brand.
Yeah. So I've probably been a part of in one way, shape, or form, probably 20 different brands that are in this category, right? Like D2C brands that aspire to be omnichannel. And this brand has had more success, or I should say faster success than any brand I've ever been a part of. I think the customers are just like, it just resonates, like the brand, the ethos, the mission, it really just resonates. So you know, sometimes with a startup, you're like pushing a boulder up a hill, and really here it just feels like everything is firing on all cylinders. And like you know, the trajectory of growth follows that too. Uh, 10,000, you know, customer reviews, I think is an, you know, 10,000 5-star reviews in under a year is an indicator of that. We also, you know, for every bag of coffee we sell, we give away a cup of coffee. And I
Mm.
wish I knew that number off the top of my head, but it's tens of thousands of cups of coffee we've given
Mm.
away. I believe we've served, by the end of this year, hundreds of thousands of customers.
Wow.
hundreds of thousands of customers, and across channels, right? Like we sell our coffee on freereigncoffee.com. You can go to, 100 something HTO locations and you can buy free reign, handcrafted beverages there. Marfa Morning. I know you're in Texas, so there's a lot of HTOs there. If you like sweet and like flavored coffees, like that'll get you going. I know you've got a newborn. And soon, in brick and mortar as well. So we will be in, over 1,000 retail locations by the end of this year.
Golly. So even saying that, I mean, again, it's been 10 months, and just the momentum it's insane. And for a product that is scaling, all the stuff that you've learned. I mean, what if you had to pinpoint one thing over the past 10 months that's been the biggest, like, no way, what has it been?
That's a good question.
I mean, you're so level-headed and so balanced, but there's got to be one moment you're like, I can't believe this. Like we're not even a year in, and it's not too good to be true. But what's been the one
Well,
moment that you can reflect on?
yeah, a moment it crystallized for me was actually we on our launch day. Like most companies, they take like 2 or 3 years to get on the Today Show. We were on the Today Show on our launch day.
That'll work.
And Cole, who is, he's kind of good at doing TV and stuff like that. Him, like the 3, 2, 1 action. And then he's live on national television talking about this brand, which was, not even a day old. And, I have our app looking at sales live and just seeing tens of thousands of people hit our website. And, that was a really, really cool moment. And I was with Cole and Carl and Paul, who are two of the other founders with Cole that day. We were all together at the Today Show. So that was all pretty cool.
Man. So what does it look like? What in your mind, what do the next few years look like? Is it creating those systems, those processes while being artistic and creative? Is it scale? Like how do you see this successfully running as the CEO?
Unlike some other D2C brands where it's like you're looking at a 5-year or 10-year trajectory, I think what's cool about this brand is we are looking at like the next 50 or 100 years, right? Like we want this to be the next American dynastic brand, right? I have a slide that is the first slide that we show at all of our board meetings. And the slide has Coca-Cola, John Deere, Ford, free reign. Like I think we want to be mentioned in the same breath as those kinds of companies. And, mission is at the core of what we do. And so, if we achieve that kind of scale, then we will have accomplished, had a big impact on our mission.
Well, I think we're on our way, and I think, again, just the momentum that's not unrealistic over the past 10 months. I mean, it's just crazy. And to hit these metrics it's just fantastic. So, when you think about legacy, whether it's as a wife, as a mom, as a leader, maybe it's in the coffee space, what comes to mind for you?
Legacy, you say?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, listen, I think our team is like a family. So if I can be a sturdy leader for our team, that's probably more important to me than any sort of bigger legacy. I mean, of course, the brand of Free Reign, I want to be a good steward for the brand, and I want the brand to have impact and help people, help more people drink good cold brew would be I think that would be a very cool legacy if I could really help elevate cold brew in the United States.
And let's talk about something that's important to all of us. A female founder, a female leader, a female CEO. How about my wife is my hero. My daughters, are going to rule the world. And so you mentioned to bring it back to your mattress company. You were the only one out of 150 only 150 founders. You're the only female founder. And so how about, making sure that the world knows that female leaders are the best leaders? How does that guide you, and how can you lead that as a legacy as well?
Well, I love that you're a proud girl dad,
Oh
and a
yeah.
promoter of women. I think what's been great about the free reign team is that it is truly a balance of like masculine and feminine energy, right? The four founders are all men, and our team is, it's not all women. It's very mixed. And we have some really healthy debates about like, is this too cute? There was an idea that our CMO had, which she and I thought was an amazing idea. And, you know, the dudes on the team were like, that's lame, So there's a really healthy like mix. And I think we both the company gets to benefit from, the 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 blend of, of ideas.
Yeah. Such great answers. What about advice? Best advice you've ever received in the professional world? What would you consider it to be?
Hmm. Wow, these are deep questions. I think I met the chief marketing officer for Kraft back in my business school days, and somebody
Wow.
asked her the question of, of all the great marketers at Kraft, like why were you CMO? And she said, I learned early on in my career that doing something is almost always better than doing nothing. Right? So just taking that first step, there's a million times a day you don't know what the next step is, but just like doing something, taking action on it is usually like all you can do. And I think that helps me at least not be paralyzed by decision making, just knowing like just take the next step forward and make a decision.
Hmm. Would that be the best advice you would give somebody, whether it's your 20-year-old self or it's the next female leader, the next founder? Is it just to keep it moving and just keep figuring it out along the way?
Yeah, I think one of the Olympians who won, I'm blanking on his name, track and field guy. He said like, why not me?
Hmm.
Right. He faced like, learning disabilities and asthma and all of those things. And he said like, why not me? And so I
Lyles,
think,
the Lyles guy,
yeah, exactly.
right?
And
Yeah.
that might be the advice I give to someone. I gave it to someone on my team yesterday. She said, this has never been done before. How do I know what's the right decision to make? Like, you're the right person to make the decision. Why not you?
Hmm.
Why can't you be the person that makes the breakthrough? So that's
Hmm.
my advice.
It's powerful. I got a couple more questions. Then I know you got some other stuff to get figured out. Staying grounded as you hit these successful metrics and the stuff you're talking about, and working with celebrity founders, working with high net worth people, and people that are unlocking incredible channels. What is your key to staying true to yourself?
Well, my kids will not let me get too high on
Yeah.
get too far away from that. I think surround yourself with people that are better than you, keeps you humble.
Hmm. Amen to that. Last question. How do we best support you? How do we follow your journey? How do we buy some coffee? How do we go and help share the gospel of cold brew? What's the best way for us to do so?
Listen, follow along on social. We have a lot of exciting stuff coming in the next few months. We're at Free Reign Coffee on Instagram. We're Free Reign Coffee on TikTok, and wherever you are, just follow along and let us know what you think. Stay engaged. Like, tell us what you like, what you don't like. That's how we make our products better. Is we hear from people the truth.
Hmm. I love it. freereigncoffee.com. Arlyn, you're such an awesome leader, and I'm grateful for you giving us the gift of your time. But yeah, this is awesome, and I'm grateful to share your story. And thanks for spending time with us this morning.
Thanks, Rogers. Oh, and what else you can do to help me? If you know Casey Musgraves, pass my name along, and I'll send her the song.